Welcome back to FAK'D TV News and Unorthodox Sales, the place where you can hear the only real fake news that matters. I'm Gregory Higgins, and I'm here with my anchor man,
Jeff Semperman.
Our anchor man, Mike Siri, has disappeared, and the government denies any alien involvement. And tonight we're going to tell you how to get in on the Bitcoin Craze, the latest on sexual harassment training,
How to get back in shape for the new year, the upcoming Million Beaver March on Washington, an exhaustive search for a mentally ill man, and a newly released murderer.
and right now you are in the right place. That's right, you are turned on and into the right place to get the best get-rich-quick scheme on the planet today. And not only is it a scheme, but it is reality. The fastest and best way to make big money right now is in the Bitcoin market. The Bitcoin market is now what the internet was in 1995. Just a baby crawling on the floor, putting any dirty thing in its mouth, and it's pooping out gold. So it's time to take off the diaper and cash in. And you are lucky. You are in the right place to get in on the Bitcoin market today, because we here at FAK'D TV News are distributing our very own FAK'D TV News Bitcoin, and we are the local salesmen. And if you get in right now, I have a special deal for you. That's right, extremely special deal for you right now, because I've taken 100 rolls of pennies and I cut every single penny into 10 little itty bitty pieces. And if you get in right now, you can get the deal of a lifetime, because I'm selling every little bit of those pennies for $1 a piece. That's right, you can buy each FAK'D TV News Bitcoin for only $1. Just think of what these bits will be worth a year from now, or 10 years from now, or maybe even next week. You could be set on easy street for life. So get in on the Bitcoin market today and call FAK'D TV News for the deal of a lifetime.
Are those Bitcoins or coin bits?
Bitcoins.
Okay. It's that time of year again. A whole new year, and that time to make the decision to get yourself back into that wonderful shape that you were in your youth. Since it's that time of year again, it's also time to look into that fantastic new exercise machine that's going to help you get back into the fantastic physical condition. Now that you're here watching and listening to us at FAK'D TV News, you need not wait any further, because we at FAK'D TV News Laboratories have actually developed the new exercise machine you've all been waiting for. This new machine we've developed will really get you into the shape of your youth, but we have a big difference between ours and all those other exercise machines. What is that difference, you might ask? Difference is, once our machine has gotten you back into that fantastic shape of your youth and you're finished with your workout, our machine doubles as a laundry dryer. That's the big difference you won't find in any other exercise machine anywhere. Our machine can and does actually turn into a laundry dryer. Our laboratories have included an actual clothesline that can be spring-loaded to roll in and out easily and connected to a nearby wall or door. The laundry line can easily be retracted by its spring-loaded retraction reel. Just remember, you heard it here first at FAK'D TV News. You can get yourself back into the shape of your youth, and when you're done, dry your laundry. Or you can go with our new Deluxe Exercise 3000 with dual retractable laundry lines. Get twice as much laundry drying action. And if you call now, you can get the Exercise 3000 with the attached laundry blow dryer for the total cost of $999.50, which can be paid for in low monthly installments. So if you want to get back into that fantastic shape from high school, call us now at FAK'D TV News and we'll set you up and get you into the shape you've been dreaming of and get your laundry dry.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself one of those machines and get myself back in shape again.
Sounds like a plan.
Happy New Year. Through numerous studies, scientists have proven that nicotine is a highly addictive drug. Millions of people around the world have put themselves through the stress and strain of trying to quit nicotine addiction by going cold turkey and found it to be very difficult. Well, we here at FAK'D TV News Laboratories have discovered that if you're really serious about quitting a nicotine addiction in this new year, it is far more effective and less stressful if you do it by going hot turkey with stuffing, mashed potatoes, and gravy, and maybe a little cranberry sauce on the side.
Yeah, that does sound good. Maybe beer and pork rinds as well.
We love beer and pork rinds and FAK'D TV News.
In another story, a Gallup poll in its recent annual survey found that Hillary Clinton edged out former First Lady Michelle Obama for the Most Admired Woman of the Year. After hearing the results of the survey, Michelle Obama was not amused and stated, "Oh yeah? I'll show you who the Woman of the Year is," and immediately challenged Hillary to a wrestling match. It's our opinion here at FAK'D TV News that Michelle Obama is going to open up a can of whoop-ass on Hillary that she'll never forget. So we're taking bets and giving odds 8-1 on Michelle. Call us now with your bets. The phone line is open.
I'm getting in on that, actually. Here we go. Sexual harassment training is now going into effect in all the Vermont state and capitol buildings. All state employees, representatives, congressmen, and women will have to complete sexual harassment training, or they will no longer be employed or allowed to work for the state of Vermont or enter the Capitol building. Attendees of these new sexual harassment classes will learn how to properly assess who is into being sexually harassed and who isn't into being sexually harassed. The classes are in dire need due to the fact that signals between men and women, women and women, men and men are being misconstrued, thus resulting in numerous lawsuits, firings, and unneeded bad publicity. For politicians only, there will be classes available where they will now be trained on how to properly sexually harass other men and women in a way that it is impossible to prove the harassers of their guilt. Sexual harassment classes are to begin immediately in the room in the basement of the Vermont State Capitol building in Montpelier. There will be men on women classes, women on women classes, men on men classes, and transgender on miscellaneous classes. For those who complete these classes, there will be awarded a certificate of sexual harassment training they must hang on the wall in their office. Upon completion of these classes, attendees will all join together for a big party to test out their newly learned skills. I want to get in on that party too. I'll be there.
Could be quite a party. There's been a disturbing course of politics going on across this country due to the Trump administration's progress on its campaign promise to drain the swamp. The increased drainage of swamps has caused great distress to wildlife that depend on swamps. Beavers across the United States are very sad and disgusted at this draining the swamp situation, according to the wildlife advocacy group American Beaver Association, which recently contacted FAK'D TV News about this situation. The announcement points out that beavers need these swamps to survive. It's very inconsiderate and upsetting to all these beavers that have spent all their lives, day after day, year after year, building and maintaining dams to create a swampy place to live and raise a family. What are they going to do if that swamp is drained? Where are they supposed to live? Well, through their advocates at the ABA, beavers have decided to take action, and beavers across the country have decided to organize a march through Washington, D.C. We will all be seeing Beavers across America gather for the Million Beaver March coming to the National Mall in D.C. very soon. So stay tuned to FAK'D TV News for future coverage.
Praise the Lord for the Beavers of America. Here we go. A number of Hillary Clinton friends have put together a large amount of funds in order to pay for the legal fees of President Trump's sexual accusers. All the money being put together for the legal assistance of these women will not only be used to finance the needed legal team to support the sexual abuse claims aimed at the president, but will also be used to pay for the expenses of a safe house for the alleged victims. The difficulty with that part of the accuser's process is that the safe house will be the Clinton mansion, the same house that houses our former President Clinton, the other accused and confirmed White House sexual abuser. It is in our view at FAK'D TV News that it is possible that Hillary may be tired of laying herself out for Bill, and she's looking to pimp him out to the alleged sexual abuse victims of President Trump. My God, I can't believe what this world is coming to these days. I wonder how much these women are willing to pay to have sex with a former president. Wow.
Sounds like Hillary Clinton may not be over her crush on Vladimir Putin that we reported on previously.
It is a good possibility.
And in another story, a number of people across the country have taken to reorganizing rocks in the rivers and streams. You may see them as you're traveling down country roads or when hiking and paddling on a nearby stream. You'll see small stacks of neatly piled rocks. It's my guess that the people who've taken to stacking up little piles of rocks are motivated by their total dissatisfaction with the apparently random way that nature organizes rocks and streams, so they've taken it on themselves to reorganize the rocks so that they're in neat little piles. These people seem to think that imposing their sense of order on the natural world will improve its appearance. It's my opinion these people who cannot resist reorganizing the rocks need to go back and finish the job, because there's very clearly millions of other rocks that they've left lying behind, unorganized, and just laying around in no obvious pattern or organizational scheme.
No, I think it's some kind of rock therapy that they're involved in. The people are trying to create something artistic, even if it looks pretty much like every little other pile of rocks.
Oh, so I guess they think Mother Nature doesn't make things artistic enough for them.
Why do you have to take things so seriously, Jeff?
Why? Well, I guess it's because I find those stupid little neat piles of rocks annoying. It disrupts the stream bed and damages the structure of the ecosystem.
Well, it could be people just like to create things, even if it does disrupt the environment.
Well, I think they could just go create things at home or in an art gallery or somewhere and leave nature to do its work.
All right. That's a good point. Our FAK'D TV News political correspondent informs us that an anti-human trafficking bill has been introduced into Congress to help stem the tide of anti-humans being promoted into positions of power in the country. The bill is also intended to help stop the progress of those anti-humans who have already ensconced themselves into positions of power. This legislation could not have come at a more critical time, since it is a fact that anti-humans in positions of power and influence have been a terrible detriment to our un-United States of America. Anti-humans have been slipping and sliding the way into power and have replaced honorable people in leadership positions in Congress. The Senate, our court system, and our media networks, they also have taken a stranglehold in Hollywood as writers, actors, directors, and producers. They've been abusing their power to spread their anti-human views and brainwash average people into their anti-human way of thinking. The damage the anti-humans are creating across the country is just total chaos. Anti-human doctors have been dooming victims of excessive plastic surgery to a lifetime of pain, suffering, disfigurement. The country has been scourged with the horror of exploding lips, breasts, and butts to unbelievable proportions. We need to stop them from being allowed to have access to the judicial system. The new laws they create are causing horrific results that could result in the planet become uninhabitable by any natural form of life. We all need to help stem the tide of anti-humans moving their way into positions of power. Anti-humans in Hollywood have been force-feeding the masses of this planet junk food movie garbage that is void of any legitimate plot or artistic value. These movies turn the junk food movie viewing public brains into useless mush and has them consuming commercial junk food and turning into obese morons. Anti-human media traffickers are poisoning our minds with their junk food for the brain so much that we can't think straight anymore. Our brains are caught in the net of flicks, trapped there for eternity. Unless we, the people, can break free of their chains of bondage, we will never be able to think straight again. I recently read an article on Facebook where this woman named Linda Joy O'Sullivan saved over 3,000 people from anti-human control and a life of slavery by pulling them out of the net of flicks. I guess she cut them loose with a proverbial scissors or of life or a knife or something like that.
Greg?
Yes.
That anti-human trafficking bill is actually about trying to stop trafficking of humans.
What are you talking about?
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking?
Yes, it's about stemming the tide of human trafficking, like importing forced laborers, child prostitutes, other victims like that. It's not about stopping anti-humans, which wouldn't involve trafficking.
How am I supposed to get through a news broadcast and warn the citizens of impending doom if you keep interrupting my stories?
Well, it would be good if we could give our viewers the correct and accurate information they've come to depend on from us.
You mean you don't want me to tell the public about how this country is being dragged down by anti-humans? How am I supposed to help the people?
Yeah, well, I guess in a kind of way you're right, but...
But what?
Yeah, well, okay, I guess we'll just leave the story as it is. The remaining good people in the legislature trying to stop anti-humans from taking over.
Yeah, well... Okay, then good. Thank you. And now on to our next story.
Vermont State Police report that a recent statewide search for a missing mentally ill man turned up some very disturbing results. State troopers and local police stations across the state report that they were overwhelmed with never-ending calls from people reporting that they'd spotted the mentally ill man. Officers and troopers across the state were required to work long overtime hours to investigate and follow up on all these leads of mentally ill men running loose across the state. At the end of 7 days of endless searching, investigating, and interviewing, the police officers of the state threw up their hands in disgust and went home. The conclusion these officers arrived at after 7 days of exhaustive investigations is that it was a lost cause trying to narrow the reports down to the one man originally reported missing. It appears the number of mentally ill men running around the state, loose in the state at any given time, is too high for them to isolate any one particular mentally ill man. One officer, interviewed by FAK'D TV News on the condition that he remain anonymous, stated that if he's sent out to search for a mentally ill man again, that's it. I quit. You'll never see me working this job again. Remember, you heard it here first through FAK'D TV News investigative reporting.
I'm going to keep my job. Well, anyway, for our next story, praising the children too emphatically for making an effort to accomplish a project that they very obviously have no aptitude at accomplishing has turned a whole society of children into a growing mass of how great I am morons. It has been proven that excessive amounts of praise and lack of discipline given to growing children has been detrimental to their mental and emotional growth process. Studies show that children who believe too highly in themselves stop taking the initiative to learn more because they think they are so great and marvelous. And as a result, they go through life believing the ego-boosting lies they have been told as a child. This country that once had been the greatest country in the world is slowly and surely turning into a quagmire of how great I am idiots. The excessive praise is now being complicated with the fear of forcing children to get out of bed and go to school on time. Raising children that believe too highly in themselves has shown too that since they are so great and fantastic, the school and the teachers that had in the past disciplined the students has now changed to the students disciplining the teachers. This new breed of students are now pushing the schools to change the school day to work around their sleeping and social media schedule and not the other way around.
Terrible. Some progress in self-driving cars that are now in use on a limited trial basis. The fear of these cars being involved in accidents and being able to navigate through very busy streets is of great concern. However, this concern is now in the process of being greatly reduced due to the latest discovery in echolocation technology. Engineering and development of self-driving cars being developed is progressing in leaps and bounds through the tireless work of Laura Kluper, an assistant professor of biology at St. Mary's College in Indiana. Professor Kluper has been studying large bat caves and investigating how it's possible for millions of bats to fly in and out of caves without ever suffering any collisions while in flight. Professor Kluper has put her years of bat research and resulting discoveries into work and created a system to allow driverless cars to avoid collisions. The invention that she came up with is an enclosure that'll be able to comfortably mount a bat onto the dashboard of each of these driverless vehicles. The bat can then use its natural echolocation to provide a warning of objects that present a collision risk, allowing the computer operating the vehicle to take appropriate action to avoid the object. The production of the bat enclosures, life support systems, is now in the final process of being approved by the Department of Transportation, despite bitter objections by the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. It's projected that approval of the system is imminent and that it won't be long before you'll be seeing driverless vehicles in your neighborhood.
That's great, driverless cars.
Possibly not so great for the bats, but
I think it's good if you want to go out drinking and driving. You won't get a summons anymore. Next, Southern Vermont Drug Task Force announced the arrest of suspects stemming from the investigations in Rutland and Bennington counties. The operation involved probes into the selling of heroin and crack cocaine. From the task force press release, it is clear that the team that made the arrest was experimenting with a new system of apprehending criminals through a newly developed process. A total of 12 drug dealers were swept into a big net with the giant brooms and taken away to jail awaiting sentencing.
Greg, I think you got that story wrong.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm reporting the story as I read it. The task force press release clearly states that it conducted a sweep and that 12 dealers were netted in the sweep.
No, the sweep and the net that they're talking about, they're not an actual net and broom. It's a proverbial net and broom and sweep. Those terms aren't intended to be used literally unless the press release said something specific about new technology being used.
Well, I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm just reporting the news as I hear it. Giant nets, brooms and nets are being used to capture drug dealers and get them off the streets. And you heard it here first at FAK'D TV News.
In another illegal story, in Westminster District Probate Court, an alleged murderer was recently freed on a technicality. While on trial, the alleged drug dealer murderer was acquitted despite having confessed to police during interrogation. It turns out that the victim of the alleged murderer was actually caught in a case of mistaken identity. The victim of the actual crime looked almost identical to the intended drug addict victim. The jury of 12 found the accused murderer not guilty due to the fact that the alleged murderer confessed to killing the wrong man and the intended victim of the murder is still alive. Therefore, the actual murder that the suspect confessed to never occurred. It's also possible that the alleged murderer was released because he was being tried in the wrong court and the jury was acting on what they believed to be proper judicial process.
Wow. So if I want to kill somebody, I know where to do it and which court.
Confess to killing the wrong person.
Yeah, for our next story. Numerous hospice centers across the country have been getting very discouraged with the elderly people that are flunking hospice these days. That's right, patients are flunking hospice. Elderly people, it seems, that are sent to these hospice centers by their grown children decide that while they are in the hospice centers, that they are not ready to die. After all, death is kind of permanent, isn't it? It appears that these grown children sending them to hospice have not been able to make a significant income, or they need their inheritance ASAP. Or the parents are deadbeats and anchor around their neck and they're dragging them down, so that's it. It's time to go. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Pop. And then when they fail hospice, they just come back to the house and they stick around constantly reminding you about all the mistakes you made all your life. That when you get to the point where you have to remind them that the only mistake you made was being born in the first place. And that was their mistake. So now, Mom or Dad tries to warm up to you and tries to make you feel better by saying, get over it, kid. If I never made you, you would have never had the chance to be a miserable loser. And that's it for our show. This is Gregory Higgins, and I'd like to thank you for watching our news tonight. So you guys, ladies, children of all sizes, colors, and ethnicities, when the story is too good to wait for the facts, we here at FAK'D TV News on Unorthodox Sales bring you the truth as we see fit. Jeff, could you say goodbye?
Good night, viewers. And Mike, if you're able to hear this somewhere, try to get a message that your captors will not identify as being a plea for help.